This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. The Taker-Kane alliance would continue, but still without the full heel turn by Taker. We should go ahead and let everybody know that after the show, in character, of course, Vince is pissed that Taker and Kane didn't take the title off of Austin. So he makes a triple threat match for the next pay-per-view breakdown. And it's announced that Taker and Kane can only pin Austin, but Austin can pin either. And the match itself sort of is what it is. 22 minutes and 3 seconds. Meltzer would write, there was no winner in the main event, but one loser, Steve Austin against Undertaker and Kane in 22:03. The big spot came when Austin hit Kane with a chair, but Taker hit Austin with a chair and went to pin him, but Kane saved Austin. Then Kane went to pin Austin. Undertaker saved Austin. Taker and Kane start fighting, and Austin even helps Kane double on Undertaker. Finally, Austin tries a stunner on Kane, who blocks it, shoves Austin into the high kick of Undertaker, and both guys choke slam Austin and pin him at the same time. And then Vince gets the belt and runs away, jumping into a limo with the motor running. 2.25 stars. I mean, I guess in theory, the idea is we've got to find a way to get the belt off of Austin, but in hindsight, was this the best creative we ever had?
No, but it was fun. It left you asking a lot of questions and what are you going to do now? And gave you a reason to tune in to see, okay, now what next? Because is Undertaker the champion? Is Kane the champion? Or is Mr. McMahon the champion?
Do you feel like that's a pay-per-view finish or more of a TV finish? Like in my head, I feel like
it depends on where, but see, it really depends on where you're at. And you look back at television and pay-per-views versus old school television and pay-per-views. When I say old school television and pay-per-views, let's go back to the 70s and 80s where most of our audience probably wasn't even born yet. And the idea was you get your talent over on television in squash matches, and then you go to the live event. And at the live event, you do a hot finish to bring people back the next week to the live event. Very seldom did you get a lot of just plain, clean, and simple finishes in your top stories. There's always somebody screwing somebody or somebody getting involved or what have you. So it's a little different philosophy in how you want to look at things. I think that if there's a good story, and especially for a pay-per-view to pay-per-view, yeah, man, if you do a screwy finish and you bring it back the next pay-per-view and you give them a finish, then eventually you got to give people a finish. I think if you give a finish every single time, then it kind of gets boring.
Right. Yeah, I could see that. You're breaking up the monotony, but I don't know. It does feel like a bit of a paradigm shift. Does it take Vince a while to come around to this sort of storytelling on pay-per-view? Historically, the TVs have been full of gaga and story, but the pay-per-views, hey man, this is the final resolution. But now that was, again, when it quarterly. Now that it's monthly, does he come around to the idea?
Yeah, times are changing. And, with times changing, it becomes, you got to adapt to them. And maybe you don't, it wasn't hurting business.
Right. So
maybe that philosophy of leave them hanging on the pay-per-view and make them come back for more drives them to TV, then television drives them to the resolution on the next pay-per-view.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.